I guess I've been volunteering in various ways most of my life, but I had a dream when I was a little girl that I wanted to be a medical missionary, and it was never really fulfilled. And one night in 2007, I was invited to go to a pancake supper at a church, not the one I attended. And a lady came and sat beside me, and she began to tell me that she had just returned from teaching in the School of Nursing at the Mengo Hospital. And she said, "We're so short of nurses there. You're not a nurse, are you?" And I said, "Well, I used to be. I'm not anymore." And she said, "Oh, it doesn't matter. You could go and teach." And I said, "Well, I haven't been part of a hospital experience since 1952. And so it seemed to be time that I would look into the Friends of Mengo Hospital, Canada, and be sponsored to come and volunteer here in whatever part I can in the AIDS clinic. Well, most of the time I'm helping in the pharmacy. It's a very busy place. There's always pills to be counted, pills to be sorted, and I enjoy that very much. I very much enjoy the people with whom I work in the pharmacy. Sometimes I go out with the outreach programs where we visit the patients in their homes who are too ill to come to clinic, and I enjoy that. And sometimes I go out with the community home-based care from the hospital. It's the closest to public health that I was used to in Canada, where we have clinics and we immunize children, we go to schools to immunize them. We see people who come into clinic for various reasons. And usually when I'm there, I'm also the pharmacist type who packages the pills for the patients.
Well, I've known Jjajja Hilda for the last 6 years, and she's an incredible woman. Jjajja Hilda is friendly. Jjajja Hilda always has stickers for children. For example, she works with us in the lab, and she makes sure each child that is getting a prick has a sticker. And she brings little goodies to most of our clients, and the clients really love her for that. She loves working with our staff. She appreciates us all in our different departments. So we have really been inspired by the love she has for Africa. And Hilda has been working with many other people outside the clinic. But each of her actions shows love for Africa, love for us, love for our clinic.
The first time I was here, a little baby came into clinic. He was about 18 months old. His name was Sharif, and he was very ill. His eyes were rolling back. He was limp. He was obviously in a dying situation from malnutrition. And the doctor said to the mother, "The baby has to go into the hospital immediately." She started to cry because she said she was not the first wife, and her husband would be very disturbed that it was costing him money. And many family members and friends in Canada send me out with money available to help people. And I said to the doctor, "Please tell her that I have some money and I will pay." And I went and paid the admission fee and then said I would pay when the baby was discharged. I thought, my husband was a clergyman, and I thought of a story I heard him telling children one time in Sunday school. And it's a story of a little boy who was on the seashore. It was a very hot day, and the tide had gone out and left hot, hot sand. And in the sand were many starfish, and he was throwing them back into the sea. And a man came down and said, "What are you doing, little boy?" And he said, "I'm throwing these starfish in so they won't die in this hot sand." And the older man said, "That's ridiculous. Look at all the starfish here. What difference is it going to make?" And the little boy said, "It makes a difference to this one." And I knew that day there were thousands of children dying in Uganda from starvation and malnutrition, but it made a difference to Sharif that friends had sent me out with money to help a family here who was poor and in difficulty, and I loved that connection.
Yeah, she got me in school. I was final year and I got stuck. I really had no hope. I had no money for tuition by then. That's the final year. And then she got me up from that year, cleared my tuition, then started work. So we met, she came in, we talked, told her about my future, what I would feel like doing after my school. And she was happy with what I was doing. I got a job. Then after 2 years, she took me back to school. And I'm actually back in university. I'm completing university in 2014 May. That's the time I'll be finishing university. So she's been so good to me in everything, financially, spiritually, and she's a good counselor, she's a good mother, she's a good grandmother.
The world's children really belong to all of us, and we have a responsibility. And I have a very strong faith. I feel guided and directed by God every day in my life, and I'm very grateful for that.
As a clinic, we are truly honored by her love for us. And like I said, when she celebrated her 80th birthday 3 years ago, we're like, oh, we'll never get to see Jjajja. But every one of us here was excited when Jjajja came back. And she didn't look tired. And she's worked all throughout the 6 weeks she's been here, visiting the children's home, going out on the home-based care program for the terminally ill clients, and you don't see her tired. You don't see her tired. So it's amazing. She's an amazing woman. We'll always cherish her.
Jjajja Hilda, I'm so grateful for the work you have done, most especially for my family. You have catered for me, for my brother also, and for my mom. And I really wish you all the best. Even as you go back to Canada, I know you are still on my heart. I will never forget you.
I would like to say to Jjajja Hilda that I'm very thankful to her for each and everything she has done to me and all the friends in Canada, Dr. Jim, Russ, Mary Catherine, and all other friends of mine. I'm very grateful, and I promise them to do a lot of good work in Uganda.
I want to assure them of my gratitude to them and my promise that I will use their funds faithfully and honestly, and that the people here are very, very grateful for the people in Canada. And we are so fortunate in Canada. My friends here cannot believe that I do not know anyone, nor indeed have a family member who has AIDS. It is such a dreadful problem here, and sadly it is increasing. The percentage is increasing, and that saddens me, because I want to see. When I was a young child, I remember the fear my parents had about polio, and they would say to us, come and tell us if you get a sore neck. That seemed to be the first symptom. And part of my nurse's training was at the hospital for sick children in Toronto, and we had a hospital just outside Toronto which was full of children with polio, and this was in 1950. And then I graduated from university in 1953 in public health, and the very first year in public health we got the vaccine for polio, and I remember the relief of parents. Now, I wonder someday if my grandchildren can say, our grandmother used to go to Africa and help people with a terrible disease called AIDS. And now we don't have AIDS anymore. And I wonder if that can happen. I pray so.